roses and balloons. Listen, that's overplayed, kind of like, reviewing movies online, but there's the exception. That is us, and that is also Art the Clown, the subject of tonight's review.
My first experience watching this film was like, holy shit. I literally am like in awe as a horror fan at how extreme and how gruesome and how aggressive and just how brutal it was. I watched it alone the first time. I could only imagine watching this with anybody like that isn't really familiar with like the genre. Terrifier is just one of those movies that just grabs you and does not let go. And it's just like, you're just like, the ride's gonna be over soon. Like, you're talking about roller coasters. Like, you're expecting the ride to be over after the first dip, but it's like, no, we're going to do a loop-de-loop and we're going to come right back to the front. We're going to roll it again,
I think the established nature of clowns in movies is they're only clowns in appearance. Like Pennywise, he might do a cute little dance occasionally. But besides that, he's just like a freaky guy. Art the Clown, he studied with the masters. He has an attention to detail to his craft, to his clownsmanship. It kind of eases you into this sense of like, oh, we're having fun, light, very cool. And then it gets so dark.
It's like you're saying, like the startup of the film seems predictable. It's like, hey, like this dude is fucking crazy. The chick's taking like selfies with him, and there's just like there's scenes that are just so gut wrenching because you're like, oh, he's definitely gonna kill you in the worst way imaginable. Like we just saw him fill a trash bag with every single thing from the junk drawer of fucking death. As much as it tries to be like the chemistry of a slasher film, they take the rug out from underneath you, and then they start changing the rules of it, and then you're starting over from scratch, and you're like, well, wait a minute, what, like, how do you do that in the middle of a slasher? Like that's not the formula, and it breaks the formula so hardcore, and it's so aggressive. Like just for the simple things, it's like, hey, the killer's got knives. Okay, well, we're gonna give him a gun now. Like, what the hell? Like, when is he allowed to use a gun? That's not okay. Jason never grabbed a gun.
Probably should go into like our dynamic duo, the two best friends. You like them enough where you're like, I'm gonna be bummed when they die, but they're definitely gonna die. And it does such a good job as we kind of go through this little process. But once they end up in this Reservoir Dogs hell apartment complex, it keeps that Looney Tunes energy, but you get to see the ramifications of like, oh, what happens when Jerry hits Tom with a sledgehammer? He doesn't bounce back. It's not animated. There is blood, there's flesh, there is yelling, but Art the Clown, he's just laughing away like, well, you like we're all in on the joke. Now, one thing that I'm going to complain on or nitpick on, it's probably within the first 30 minutes when it hits you with a biggie. One of the friends gets tied up and is subjugated to viewing her other friend in a Looney Tunes-esque death scene. It hit too hard with one of its best kills too early on. We had the appetizer with the pizza shop, and then it hits you with this lobster feast, but it didn't really top that first 30-minute kill.
This is part of the problem with changing the formula. Like they changed it in a big way. So like we go from killing off one of the main characters, and then we jump into this cat and mouse with Skeleton Girl. They're chasing after her. And now as they're chasing after her, it's like, it's again, cat and mouse, her sister's on her way. And you're expecting like this big final struggle, but then even they cut that short. And it's like she's about to kill him, and he literally pulls out a gun and blows her head off. And just to make it worse, he just walks up and pops her like 3 or 4 more times. I'm like, this is a slasher. You're supposed to slash. Like, what the hell happened? Yes, it does get a little sluggish. You're literally restarting it, almost like a Tarantino film where it's like the first hour of the film was just build up for the actual movie. And it's like, what the hell was the point at that point? But it's like, we're getting somewhere. It's just going to build. It's going to build a persona for Art the Clown and make him that much more like lovable, but also like you love to hate him. Like you're like, okay, she's got to get him. Like she's going to get him. And it's like you go through these wacky, zany deaths after that. Like the plumber just getting destroyed after he is wearing the skin of the girl that he tore in half. And it's just like, how did you have time to do that? Like, where do you have, like, you are the fastest Skinner in the entire world. Like, separated it, completely stripped down naked, and put a skin suit on yourself. Enough so where this janitor's like, Captain Save-A-Ho, and coming over here trying to help. It's like, and then we go to this like baby doll thing, which is completely unnecessary, but it works for Terrifier world. You're like, what's going to happen? Are we going to get this different side of Art the Clown? Is he going to have sympathy because it's like the kid? And it's like, nope, he's just going to go back and murder the shit out of him.
One film that you recommended previously is Funny Games, where it's basically, you know, we have complete lack of control, and the intended purpose of that film was more of like, you know, shame on you, like how dare you. This is almost that same philosophy of like, well, what's the purpose, what's the reason? Art's the maniac, he just wants to do what he want to do, and we just have this lack of control. I mean, again, it's reinventing, it's giving you something that you're not typically expecting. Going back to him as a performer, there's so much he does with just his face, his motions, where it's almost like you're listening to great dialogue. It's like just the mere fact of watching him play out a scene. It doesn't matter who he's playing beside, like whoever the counterpart is, whether it's the goth girls or the other ones. Ultimately, it's, as much as I would have preferred to have an established final girl, which we kind of get more with the sequel, Art is ultimately the star. You know, it is the Art movie.
David Hawthorne, I think is what his name. David Thornton. God in heaven, we'll have to edit that.
He's immortalized as Art. I just didn't. You are no longer your human self. You've become the character.
You are definitely not your human self.
For the first time today, I saw a customized version of the actor. I was like, he just looks like a guy. Like it was almost weird. I was like, he doesn't live in a weird alley with his hobo trash bag, like you were saying. Like,
yes.
Like I was like, oh, I can see this guy shopping at Barnes and Nobles, you know, in like the yoga section.
David Howard Thornton, and it's like such a beautiful name. It's like he just on a pedestal. And I got to meet David and Damien Leone, and they're really, really nice. And we met him at the Sinister Con, and they were just super like open and BSing, and they were like, yeah, just get ready for Terrifier 2, get ready for Terrifier 2. And of course everybody says that, but they meant it. We watched Megan, Chucky, you know what I mean? Watch Smile, it's The Ring, it's The Grudge, it's like It Follows, like, you know what I mean? Like, and you watch something like Terrifier, I can't compare that to anything. And I think that David Howard Thornton, his ability to bring this character to life as well and give us a very creepy ass clown. Like, again, clowns are a fun horror theme, but it's like just the killer mime, and it's like the ability to give so much personality behind this slasher and just make it so unpredictable and make it so like quiet and make it so like there's no rules it sticks to. It gives you a slasher formula, but it doesn't let you predict what's going to happen. When I first saw this, I didn't have a 5 out of 5 feel. I had like a, hey, this is a really good horror movie. Like, I really liked it, but I didn't know I had like those many deep feelings for it. You know what I mean? It took a little longer for me to really love it. You know, it's like I loved the character. But yeah, I'm going to say 4 out of 5 for the first one.
We have things like Megan where they purposely eased it back to ensure it being a success. And this kind of doubling down on that gore factor, high risk, high reward, because it is making it more of a niche product or more of a niche market. But it found it, it struck gold, and the people are there, and word of mouth carried it to other people who are like, well, maybe I'm interested in that kind of thing. And lo and behold, they are, or maybe they weren't. And then Stockholm Syndrome, now they are. That's how we're hoping to get viewers. So if you hate it at first, we're playing the long con until psychologically you just think you like this show. I think if anyone else was at the helm of the Art the Clown performance, it might have been a different story, because I think a lot of my enjoyment falls on this Charlie Chaplin performance where it's very much singular to his quirks, his movements. My favorite part is still going to be just the very much the intro of him at that pizzeria, where he's like just keeps switching, they keep cutting back to him, he has different faces, and it's just this, you know, this feast of performance. For me, this falls on a 4 out of 5. This is probably something that will maybe become a 5 out of 5, as I'm assuming, hopefully I can catch like an actual theatrical viewing of it. Like, I don't have a phobia of clowns. I wouldn't go that far. I don't know the scientific term for whatever that phobia is, but I teeter on it. So the fact that it got me to even enjoy it as much as I did, because clowns, man, I don't get it. Like, ooh, hopefully you don't have a phobia of us, because if you did, I don't know how you've watched this video that far. You might be strapped to a chair duct taped, and if you are, we'll ease the duct tape enough so you can click the like and the comment to, and then from there you're on your own. But as long as you do those things, like, comment, subscribe, we're happy campers. Mr. Nick, can you let us out with that camp counselor motto?
Blood, guts, spit, and ass. That's how we roll.